Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. I would like to encourage everyone on my Facebook friends list, everyone in my social groups, and all of my listeners from around the globe. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube page, and share this video podcast on all social media sites you are on, such as Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, or LinkedIn, ladies and gentlemen. This video podcast is available in 3 forms: audio, video, and as a written text in order for us to reach our audience. I am the founder and president of GRCAM, the Grassroots Community Activist Movement. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast is our Black media component. For those of you who don't know me, then get to know me by purchasing and reading my story, quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, 2nd edition. It's available as an ebook for $9.99 or as a paperback for $15 plus shipping and handling. I provide the link to my Amazon author page in the comment section below this video podcast. After you have read my story, and if you agree with my vision and plan to improve Black America, specifically Black Chicago, then make arrangements with me to come on this show and get on camera and let's talk about it and encourage others to get involved with our cause and to back this film project. We have upgraded our platform by moving from an audio podcast to a video podcast using StreamYard. We want to interact with our audience in real time through Facebook Messenger during our live stream. I created GRCAM in order to connect with like-minded Black Americans, like-minded African immigrants within the United States of America, Afro-Caribbeans, Afro-Latinos, and Afro-Brazilians, as well as continental Africans. I encourage everyone on my Facebook page or in my social groups who are Black entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs, Black artists, African artists, Black authors, African artists, musicians, poets, community advocates, or spiritual leaders to make arrangements with me to come on this platform so that you can promote what you're doing or selling, or even share a 30-minute sermon with my listeners from the global community. We want to grow this platform for the global African community throughout the diaspora. For 32 years, Black Americans, specifically Black Chicagoans, has taken me for a joke. They have rejected and overlooked my vision and plan to help improve the African American community. All I have is my revised book, my virtual store, my online social groups, and this platform. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group in America before I cut and run to Africa. I want the whole Black world to know who we are and what we are trying to do for the African American community and the African immigrant community for credibility. Before we expand to Africa, Brazil, and the Caribbean. Work with me while I'm alive. Don't wait until I'm dead. This is why I'm reaching out to African immigrants within the United States of America to help speed up the process. I encourage African immigrants in America from the following African nations: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. Please do me a favor. Purchase my revised book and read my story. If you agree with my vision and plan for Black America, then make arrangements with me to come on this platform and get on camera and let's talk about it and encourage others to get involved with our cause as well as to back my film project. Share my information with all of your friends, including your non-Black friends. This will help speed up the process. Our aim is to raise $250,000. We are using crowdfunding. We have our GoFundMe page and our PayPal page. If you are a U.S. citizen, then you can use our PayPal page as a tax write-off because this is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit, faith-based, and community advocacy organization. In my Christian business, we will raise the bar in Black America. We will separate ourselves from con artists, black boule, degenerates, democratic chills, hardened criminals, pedophiles, off-code Negroes, and urban terrorists. Those who reject my vision and plan will not be part of my Christian business because this is membership-based. We will pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. The question at hand, how long will it take for us to get this film project fully funded and made? The answer is up to the Black grassroots and the global African family. We encourage non-Black sympathizers to patronize our film project, but it's Black Americans and African immigrants who are GRCAM members' responsibility to build this organization and to own it. I try to host my show every week in order to engage people on my friends list and people in my social groups until I am able to get my film project fully funded and made. Once the proceeds from the film starts coming in, then I will be in a better position financially to purchase property in Chicago, buy office equipment, hire qualified Black middle-class professionals and African immigrants within the United States to work with me in building my Christian business, the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago, for credibility before I cut and run to Africa. I refuse to be ignored. This is why I created this platform, because I want the Black world to hear me loud and clear. Those of you who will work with me and get behind this film project will go down in history with me and Sister Renee. Lord knows I would like to do more than just news and social commentaries, but at this point, this is where I'm at. I'm working on a shoestring budget. All of my funds go towards bills, food, and rent. Without financial support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, then I am unable to do my God-given assignment, and that is to build the best African-American business within the United States of America, the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. This is a Nehemiah assignment. And again, I do not operate like the next Black man. I have my own style and way of doing things. You don't have to like me, but you will respect me. Those of you who have rejected my vision and plan for the past 32 years will not be part of my Christian business, again, because it's membership-based. And we are declaring war on this Willie Lynch mentality. So help me God. The sooner we get this film project fully funded and made and established in Chicago, the sooner I can turn the business over and expand the business on the African continent. Upcoming events. Please mark your calendar for the following date for our monthly virtual conference, Facebook Live. Saturday, August 31st, 2024. Theme, Waging War Against a 400-Year Mentality, Willie Lynch. Where? Facebook Live/StreamYard. Time, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian time, 8 p.m. West African time, 9 p.m. South African time, 10 p.m. East African time, and 8 p.m. UK time. Title of this presentation: Examining Presidential Nominee Kamala Harris. Before we begin this presentation, I want all of my listeners to know that on this platform, we talk about Black issues and how to solve them collectively as GRCAM members. If you're looking for an echo chamber for Democrat support, then I suggest that you go to the Black Boule platforms, because over here, we don't roll with them. Over here, we promote the gospel of truth with facts. This is an open platform. Everybody on my Facebook friends list and everybody in my social groups are welcome to call in and add to the conversation once I complete my presentation. And that would be called Side B. Right now, this is Side A. This is an interactive space. If you are unable to participate during our live stream, just watch the replay and leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this video podcast. If you are serious about coming on the show to discuss the topic, then make arrangements with me so that we can do this. I prefer if I can get at least 8 people to be on my panel. With that being said, this is the most consequential election for Black Americans to show the Democrats that we can hold them accountable and punish them politically for their neglect over the past 40 years. No Black politicians from the mainstream media is talking about our demands from the Black grassroots. No reparations, no vote. Nobody is talking like that. If more of us just get on one accord, then it's going to send a strong message to the Democrats that they don't have us anymore. And if they want our vote, then they have to play on our terms. If Trump wins, he's gonna get everything he wants from the Supreme Court. During the 2020 election, Ice Cube tried to offer a Black agenda, but the Democrats did not follow up on his plan. We have a population within Black America that don't examine any public policy. That is one of our biggest problems, because in our group, we lack political education. This is why it's so important for Black America to work with me in turning my plan and vision into reality, because at this point in the game, Black America has only 2 choices: either embrace annihilation or embrace survival. GRCAM members worldwide, I need your help in getting this film project out to the Black masses and the Black world. I need Black filmmakers and African filmmakers to step up and take me serious. Our Black youth future is in trouble. If we don't fight for our children, then no one will. Kamala Harris is a member of Alpha Kappa. Joe Biden dropped out of the race due to his poor debate with Trump. Now, Kamala Harris is the presidential nominee. Like I mentioned on my last video podcast last week, you have a lot of members who are part of the Divine Nine, aka the Black Boule, who are supporting her, telling Black Americans to support this Black woman. They are mobilizing people across the country. But on the other hand, there also a large portion of Black Americans who is calling Kamala Harris out, saying she's not from the soil, she's not from our lineage, and they are correct. I never heard her speak about her Jamaican roots. She was raised by her East Indian mother. There's no Black connection. We're We've been down this road before with Obama, who had a Kenyan father and a white mother. His father was out of the picture. There's an argument that she attended Howard University, a HBCU, which means Historical Black Colleges and Universities. Rachel Dolezal, the white lady who pretended to be black, also attended Howard University. We have a copy of the interview that Kamala Harris did on The Real, which is available on my Medium transcript in the comment section below this video podcast. She said, quote, she's not going to do anything that only benefit black people, no, unquote. But again, she did something that only benefited the Asian community, which was that Asian hate crime bill. She did something that only benefited illegal immigrants that broke federal law by crossing the borders illegally. She did something that only benefited Israel. That's her record. She didn't do anything for black people, even when she was in the Senate. Her focus is on feminists, LGBT, and illegal immigrants. A lot of white people were genuinely concerned about what took place during George Floyd. Black women demanded the Biden administration to elect a black woman for vice president. Joe Biden selected Kamala Harris, which I think was a terrible choice. If I was Joe Biden, I would have selected Karen Bass or Susan Rice. So the white supremacist financial elites gave you what you wanted. You got your black girl magic. We saw what happened with Fannie Willis, which was embarrassing. You had all these white liberals that put a black woman in a position to take down Donald Trump, but that didn't work. He was gaining more votes in the polls. I think that this mobilization from the Divine Nine is going to turn off a lot of white voters. That's just my opinion. The Divine Nine is going to hit the streets and roll and stroll to the polls. Black America will become divided as it pertains to Kamala Harris. Let's talk about her record in California when she was a district attorney prosecutor. She was locking up struggling black parents who had children that did not attend school, which caused a truancy issue. You have this Indian woman with her truancy laws that was locking up single black mothers. If you look at her record as a DA, she acted just like a white supremacist. Kamala Harris is standing on her track record, but what about her track record when she was the Attorney General in California? There are lots of stories coming out about her locking up a bunch of single black mothers for marijuana and truancy. I'm deeply concerned about her record. She put over 50,000 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it on camera. I also have that on my Medium transcript under show and proof. She kept people in prison beyond their sentence to use them as cheap labor for the state of California, and she fought to keep cash systems in place that impacts poor black people. She can't debate that because that's her record. The Democrat shields do the same thing. You speak about one topic, and instead of them addressing the issue, they began deflecting, trying to change the subject. When they do that, they're conceding that what the person's telling you is accurate, because if it wasn't accurate, you could prove them wrong. I heard about the story of Matrice Richardson, a case that was never solved in California. Matrice Richardson was a young black woman. She had some mental health issues. All these years later, people are still talking about it. I found an article from the LA Times that discussed this case in detail under Kamala Harris Watch. To read the full story and watch the video, just go to my Medium transcript in the comment section below this video podcast and read the full article, along with watching some of the video clips. And I'm just going to paraphrase it. It had been 10 years and we still have no answers to what happened to Matrice Richardson. In a nutshell, the police was called from Jeffrey's restaurant in Malibu, California, over a $89 bill that Matrice Richardson didn't pay for. After her arrest, she was released from the Lost Hills station at 12:30 a.m. in the morning with no money, no phone, or a car. Almost a year later, her remains were discovered in a remote Malibu canyon. The cause of death was undetermined. It's my understanding that the reward that was offered shortly after Matrice Richardson's disappearance, I think that helped motivate people to, investigate what happened to her. A search party went out. The investigation cleared the sheriff's office of any wrongdoing. She was released without a phone or money. The sheriff's office had suppressed video of her behavior in her jail cell, and they moved her remains before the coroner arrived. Matrice Richardson's parents were each awarded $450,000 in a lawsuit against the county. The family wanted to make sure that what happened to their daughter will never happen to anyone else again. Kamala Harris had launched an investigation that had failed to uncover evidence that would merit criminal charges against the LA County Sheriff's deputies for their handling of the disappearance and murder of Matrice Richardson. The 24-year-old black woman went missing in 2009 after being released from the sheriff's Malibu police station. Her decomposed body was found in a Malibu canyon, several miles from the sheriff's station. The coroner's officials said deputies moved her body parts without permission. The cause of death remains undetermined according to the coroner's office. The sheriff's office are playing games with Matrice Richardson's family. I believe someone from that police department murdered that sister in cold blood. Look at what happened to Sonia Macy. She was killed in cold blood in her own home, and it was on body cam. Months later, in February 2016, the case appeared to gain new momentum after Harris agreed to review the matter at the request of Richardson's father, Michael Richardson. The year-long inquiry appeared to have revealed no evidence of any wrongdoing. A December 31st letter from the Attorney General's office to Richardson's father, which was released to the Times, briefly outlines why there was insignificant evidence of support for criminal prosecution for destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, but yet the mother found a finger bone of her daughter, and yet Kamala Harris at that time said they didn't do anything wrong. To tell these Democrat shields this is the kind of person you are supporting? She had the opportunity to solve a crime against a black woman, but she didn't. The LA Daily News and the letter to Richardson's father also noted that the statutes of limitations for concealment or tampering of evidence had passed more than 2 years ago. This is what the letter said to the father. Now he was reached by phone at that time, period. Michael Richardson said he was disappointed in the findings of Attorney General Kamala Harris and angered by the acknowledgement of the statute limitation, prevention, prosecution. He maintained his daughter was murdered and that the killer remains at large. Now, if she did it under murder, then there's no statute of limitation for that, but she decided to use tampering with evidence, which had a statute of limitations, because she's a lawyer. Michael Richardson accused Kamala Harris for taking an interest in the case because it was during an election year. She was using Matrice Richardson's case to gain publicity. She had no intention on solving the murder. She just wanted to stir up Californian voters. She reviewed the case, which coincided with her campaign for the U.S. Senate. She was elected to the Senate in November. Michael Richardson said, quote, "Harrison is a phony. We don't need people like that leading us," unquote. Now, she wants to become the president of the United States of America. She should have done right by the Richardson family. She has a history of using people to boost herself. So now she's using black Americans to boost herself. But if she gets elected, she will drop her blackness in a heartbeat, just like Obama. So beware, black voters. She is an East Indian. She is not from the soil. The chief coroner publicly rebuked deputies for removing her remains. The detectives at the time countered the investigators' removal of the body because they were concerned about approaching nightfall and the possibility that animals might disturb the remains. The inquiry said that there is no evidence of concealment, tampering of evidence, or criminal wrongdoing. Again, the Richardson's family or parents receive $450,000 each from the county in a legal settlement. If they did nothing wrong, then why did they use taxpayers' money to pay the parents a settlement? That doesn't make sense. If y'all elect her, then just be ready for more illegal immigrants coming over here. High inflation, such as food and gas prices. We're funding two wars like Ukraine and Israel. Now, Governor Gavin Newsom just put out an executive order to remove all homeless encampments in California. They're ruining the economy. Now they want to get rid of the homeless population off the streets. These Democrats want to put homeless people in jail because, this country still runs on slave labor. America never got rid of slavery because of the 13th Amendment. The white supremacist financial elites transferred slavery from being a private slave owner to the state. So all those homeless people that are on the streets will be placed in jail to work for these major corporations. The majority of the homeless population in California is black people. They will continue to allow illegal immigrants to come over here and become American citizens so that they can pay them less than real Americans. That's what I predict. Real Americans demand higher wages, health care, and we know our rights. Every time you look up, it's the Democrats who create some type of legislation to hurt black Americans. Don't take my word for it. Do the research. For example, Bill Clinton created a law to punish American citizens over child support that came through Bill Clinton during the 1990s. Biden gets in office and he gives the Asian community a anti-Asian hate crime bill. Kamala Harris won't talk about the economy or the border. Black Americans are more affected than any other group on those two issues alone. She will not talk about inflation. She will not talk about gas prices. She won't talk about interest rates. She won't talk about those sort of things because she doesn't have a solution for it. When you have a certain amount of money, none of this bothers you. When you got millions of dollars coming in, you're not worried about the economy or interest rates because you have the money. That's why people like these career politicians don't care about those of us living on Main Street. Biden created the 1994 crime bill before he ran for president. The 1994 crime bill is an example of systematic racism. Truth be told, it's good to see brothers and sisters organizing over something that's important, but I just think that aggressive push to get this woman in office is going to offend a lot of people. And I don't think she deserves it because, again, what her record in California. We have to keep in mind that it was the Biden-Harris administration that kept the borders open in the first place for illegal immigrants to come here and be placed in the African-American neighborhoods. Our children would have to compete against illegal immigrant children for resources. In my Christian business, the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago, we will teach our members and students the importance of politics and to choose the best policies, not personalities or the color of the political candidate. During a presidential election year, we will encourage GRCAM members to demand economic tangibles in the form of lineage-based cash payment reparations for descendants of American slaves, as well as an anti-black hate crime bill. No reparations, then no vote, period. Look, family, there's a massive voter outreach toward black Americans. Notice every election year, Everything revolves around conning us into voting. These career politicians act like we're not that important, yet they are spending millions of dollars to get us to participate in their voting system. Don't take my word for it. Do the research. Go to Google and type articles about black voters, and you will see a ton of articles about the topic. We have 43 million registered black voters, which makes us a voting bloc. In Ghettos of Chicago, we will teach our members and students how to leverage our power. They're still using benign and neglect strategies, as I have mentioned many times before. It's okay for us to make a political stand by withholding our votes, ladies and gentlemen. When we vote without demanding anything from these politicians, then that only benefits other groups. The dominant society needs us to vote in order for the white supremacist financial elites to maintain the status quo and for us to only get symbolic gestures like Juneteenth. You know, black people I hear in the South been doing that for decades, but all of a sudden, Biden decided to make that a national holiday. But they're giving all these other groups economic tangibles for their groups, but not for us, and that's not cool. And that's what I've been trying to educate, Raquel members for the longest. The mainstream media gives the international community a false perception that we live in a democratic society. They know in reality that black Americans are mistreated and how hypocritical the United States of America is with its black citizens. Kamala Harris is portraying herself as a black woman. She's doing it to pander to black Americans, just like Trump did with those golden sneakers. I'm not voting for her because she ain't offering anything, no specific policies for black Americans. She also has a elitist background. The United States government is on the hook for American slavery because all of the so-called founding fathers owned slaves. They also allowed 100 years of Jim Crow. It's time they pay reparation because our ancestors built this country and all of the impacts slavery had in this nation. Native Americans, they got their reparations after 200 years. None of those tribes who endured the Trail of Tears are alive now, but yet they got compensated by the U.S. government for their grievances. Japanese Americans receive compensation by the U.S. government for their grievances. Reparations is our last fight in America. For decades, I have watched black Americans who call themselves activists going out to the streets, marching and protesting, and yet they lack a game plan. So what's happening is after a few days, it dies out. In Ghettos, Chicago, our objective is to become self-sufficient in job creation, technology, and manufacturing so that we can replicate this Christian business in Africa, Brazil, and in the Caribbean. Racism is a system created by the white supremacist financial elites designed specifically to oppress black people. For example, in Africa, we have neo-colonial, I would say, African puppets helping to maintain white imperialism by selling out their own people and natural resources for the interests of the former colonizers. I have a video clip from CNN Town Hall with Don Lemon asking Kamala Harris a specific question. Do you support reparations in the form of cash payments? She said, she supports a study to look into it. To watch the full video clip, just go to my Medium transcript below this video podcast in the comments section and click on the link. Then scroll down to show and prove. Notice she did not say, yes, I support reparations in the form of cash payments. Why do we need HR 40 as a study when everything is well documented in our history books? Notice there were no study for Ukraine, there was no study for Israel, no study during the pandemic, and no study for illegal immigrants that cross the borders illegally. All these foreign countries get financial support from the U.S. taxpayers. But when it comes to Black Americans, they want to give us a study as a stalling tactic. We're waking up to the political game. There are two important questions to ask Kamala Harris. What is your position on reparations in the form of cash payments for descendants of American slaves? We don't want to hear about a study because you don't do that for other groups. The second question to ask her is about the Sonia Macy case. We need an anti-Black hate crime bill just like the Asians. If you are elected president, will you sign it into law? Yes or no? These questions need to be asked because she wants the Black vote. It's not about what university she attended. It's not about her color. It's about her policies. It's interesting that Black people can raise $1 million for her political campaign, but out of 2,000 people that's on my Facebook friends list alone, only one person has donated to my film project. And that's a doggone shame. But somebody has to push this type of organization that I'm trying to get popping. And so I'm doing the best that I can. I know it's going to take a miracle. And again, God give us free will. You know, like I say, if it was up to me, everybody on my Facebook friends list, everybody on my friends list, on my LinkedIn page, on my Instagram page, everybody on my TikTok page will get behind this film project, and also everyone will purchase my revised book to help get that on the bestsellers list so that way people can take our cause serious. But again, God give us free will. And I am documenting everything I'm doing. That's how come I created this platform. Because I refuse to be ignored. You know, I've been doing this, you know, the audio podcast for years now. And now I'm starting to do video podcasts. So that way people can see me and hear me loud and clear. Because I refuse to be ignored. Again, the proceeds from the film will allow me to create a Black business within the African American community and within the African immigrant community. Because we want to serve both communities. Black Americans don't want to support my film, but rather support a so-called Black female political candidate who has done nothing for the African American community since she's been in the White House. And that's a doggone shame. But it is what it is. It's Obama 2.0 all over again. I'm trying to build something constructive within the African American community and within the African immigrant community. when it comes to help improving the African American community, then Black Americans start acting funny style. This is why I am reaching out to African immigrants in America to help speed up the process. They will go down in history with me and Sister Renee. And I can turn the business over to them and expand it to the African continent. The Democrats can get millions of dollars from you, but if you don't support your advocates, then you won't have any advocates. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this video podcast and share it with your friends on all social media sites you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. Please join GRCAM by joining either my Christian groups, Light of the World Inspirational Group, or Christian Spoken Word Network, or join my secular groups, GRCAI of Chicago, GRCAI of Africa, New Black Voices of Media, etc. Also exchange emails with me so that I can email you everything that I do online, and also so that we can stay connected, because this is my third Facebook page. Hackers are forever bugging. I would like to thank everyone who have contributed or will contribute to support us on our GoFundMe page, or if you are a U.S. citizen, then you can use our PayPal page as a tax write-off, because this is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit faith-based community advocacy organization. You can also purchase items from our virtual store or purchase my revised book. The ebook is $9.99, or the paperback is $15 plus shipping and handling. We appreciate your support. You can find all of the links below this video podcast in the comment section. If you are listening to this audio podcast on Spotify, just click on the YouTube icon and look to the far right next to my photo. It will say more links. Just click on it and scroll down. If I don't hear from anyone within 15 minutes, then this will conclude our video podcast for today. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you on the next episode. Peace and blessings. Instructions on how to participate on the show. First, watch my video presentation. This is called Side A. After I finish my presentation, then I will open up the phone lines through Facebook Messenger and drop a link in the chat room to StreamYard Studio so that you can interact with me for Q&A in real time on camera. This is called Side B. Okay? With that being said, the phone lines are now open, and I'm going to wait around for about 15 minutes. Thank you all.